I want to talk about domestic violence. You're advocating for changes around the way we manage the issue. What are you calling for?
Well, it's fundamentally two key things. So, number one, we need far greater national collaboration. You know, one of the biggest challenges we face as a nation is that every state and territory has different laws. So, you know, we're at week number 34 now in this year. 38 women have already lost their lives this year. We know that in any given year, 8,000 women who have fled, or I shouldn't say women, 8,000 victims who have fled domestic violence will return to a situation where they're not safe, while a further 9,000 people will become homeless because of domestic violence. So we need to break down those barriers that exist because the laws are different state by state. And then actually, perhaps controversially, what I'm calling for is we need to flip this whole challenge on its head, because at the moment it's victim driven. So the person who experiences the violence or the coercion is forced to leave. I would like to see us as a nation begin to have a conversation that is the person who experiences the violence or coercion gets to stay, and it's the perpetrator who leaves and gets the help that, you know, 9 times out of 10 they will recognise they actually need for themselves. You know, if we could bring that about, you'd have women and children staying in homes, and we'd be trying to find accommodation for one person, as opposed to trying to find accommodation for 4 or 5 people at a time.
Just on that, we're running out of time, but we know so often, as you mentioned, cases where women end up dying at the hands of men who perhaps have a history of violence, for example, which arguably could have perhaps been dealt more forcibly in the first place. Do we need to also look at stronger penalties for violence against women?
There's no doubt we need greater consistency across from that federal law level, and that's something I've been pushing with the Social Services Minister and with the Attorney General to say, look, what are we actually going to do here? I think it's also really important that we recognise there is no one fix for this, and it is going to take a whole of system change. So we will need our police services bolstered in this space. We will need our social services bolstered in this space. We do need services for perpetrators bolstered. You know, and I guess from my perspective, I would be very keen to see this worked back right to as young as we possibly can, because if we can fix this before it ever happens, we can take a massive burden off our society. But that is going to it's going to take a concerted effort. And, you know, we have a goal at the moment. The government has said they want to end violence against women in one generation.
Yeah.
The truth is we're a long way from that at the moment, and we have to remain vigilant and keep pushing that envelope.
Yeah, it's a tough timeline. Kylea Tink, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.